Hello, hello, hello. It's your girl, Miss Mouthy, and I am here, lips, back in the studio. If it's your first time tuning in to the Miss Mouthy podcast, welcome. You are a new set of lips. This podcast is all about the narratives of trans and non binary folks and the allies that love and support us. And this season, we're focusing heavily on Blackness, so Black owned businesses, Black owned organizations, Black people, and the allies that support us, which that means anybody that's not Black, okay? Um, and my weekend recap, I'm coming back off of vacation, y'all. Your girl is feeling refreshed. She is feeling happy, good. Definitely had a great time in Atlanta. Had a great time in Hawaii. I had a blast in Hawaii. Um, also, we just celebrated Halloween. So your girl was She-Hulk. It was something about that costume that I felt just very connected to. A very strong female figure. It's not often. It was either her, Xena, or China. Like I just like real strong women. Because being a woman of like a masculine or muscle physique, people oftentimes try and demean women who got a muscular body. So I wanted to embrace that this Halloween, but just a touch of sexy on it. Um, but this is um our series of Black Joy. So this is a collaboration with Miss Mouthy Podcast and BTF, which is a Black Trans Fund, if you do not know. And this is a monthly ongoing thing where we highlight significant people within our own community. And one thing about BTF, I love that they highlight Black joy and liberation for people throughout the nation. It's just amazing. So if you are not familiar with BTF, please get yourself familiar with them and all the work that they're doing. They are pouring money into local and national organizations that's really out here changing the landscape for trans and non-binary folks. And so I have a special guest. So within this is our third one, I believe. So we didn't already went to Atlanta. We have went to Alabama, and now we coming from Little Rock, Arkansas. Okay. So special guest, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I am Keon Anderson out of Little Rock, Arkansas, born and raised. I am 501 if you did not know.
Okay.
That means I am Little Rock, most definitely.
That's how I feel about Detroit. I'm 313 all day.
All day. It's
Yeah.
tatted on every way.
Oh, okay. So tell the people about it, the work that you're doing. Not Siri thinks she in this conversation. No, yeah, something
Yeah.
did go wrong. You start talking, babes. Okay, so tell us about the work that you do, the name of your organization, and what you do, and when did you start it?
Okay. Name of my organization is the BU organization. And we are a grassroots organization, which I started May 12th last year. Um, Our mission is to recognize transgender and non-binary and NGC individuals of color,
Yes.
to uplift and empower them, to have them have in a secure place where there's no it's a non-judgmental space, and to have where they can thrive. I know they can thrive.
Okay.
What we do is our vision is to guide people to just empower themselves, to be present, to be heard, to know that they can feel valued, successful, and be successful, and be
I love
confident
that.
in the lives and to live in their authentic life, their
Yeah.
true self. You
And
know,
that's real. So, one, thank you for coming on, but what made you really wanted to get started to starting your organization? Because like a lot of people feel like starting their organizations can be intimidating or scary, but what made you just want to jump straight into it?
well, actually, I was told I was doing advocacy work because you know, in my past, in my dead life, I
Mhm,
was a father of a house.
mhm.
I started lesbian gay houses in Little Rock, Arkansas. So
Okay,
that's a lesbian house of color. So
okay,
with that being said, that was over 17 years ago, and we were called the Dior's. So I was Father Dior.
okay,
So
period.
at that point in time, I had well, I wouldn't call them children because I was like 28. But I had
Right,
youngsters up under me from the age of 16 to 25 at that point in time. and now they're up to like 35. So I've had some of them like 16 years. So I just kept them and I brought them in when the people didn't want them around, and they didn't understand. I was their
Right.
father for them. I was their father figure. I was there where they could cry on my shoulder. They needed somewhere to lay their head. I taught them about sexual awareness,
Yeah,
but I
all of
didn't,
that.
didn't know about all this when I came out. So it's like I didn't have nobody to guide me, so I wanted to guide people. I wanted
Yeah,
to let them know there was somebody out here for them. So with that being said, I was told I was doing advocacy work because I have 40 children, which that means
yeah.
I have children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren. So, so my
I love
lineage is
that.
like. So when I was told that, I was already doing some work around here. I was promoting in Little Rock. I've always promoted for Little Rock Black Pride, and I
Right.
also used to hold Little Rock Black Pride by myself as well. Um, so with that being said, being a promoter, I started living my
Just use
truth.
your skill set to start doing what you was already doing.
Yeah, I started living my truth, and then my focus was always on my community, always on the LGBTQ community. Anyway, promoting and getting any type of focus and word out here to get us out.
I love
So
that. So
so
this is a question that I have for you that I feel like our community either don't talk about or we kind of like miss sometimes is that do you feel like once you've started them doing work or started advocacy in your past life that once you transition you find resistance or people who may not want to see you other than how you started?
most definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, in every square you go,
Yeah.
there's going to be those type of people, standing still, don't see or think that you've changed or don't even know you, and don't they just judge you off of what they see,
Right.
and that's something that you shouldn't do anyway, because you living in a box that way as well, and we ain't supposed to live in no box anyway.
Right.
So get out your box. You know?
So what's bringing you joy these days?
Joy that brings me this day is family. You
Yeah.
know, because right now we're losing people every day, you
Yeah.
know,
That's real.
uh, everything, and just having just loyal people around me in my circle that mean me good. Because it's all about going up, not going down. I'm not getting any younger. I'm getting older. I've learned from my past. It's time to prosper. It's time to do for others as I've always done.
Okay,
You know,
period. So we're gonna have a mouthy moment. Do you want to kind of explain to the people how we met? Um,
almost definitely.
yeah, definitely.
Um, first of all, out of the inaugural class of Monica Roberts. So kudos to the first class. Uh,
Hey,
so with that being said, thank you to all the mentors that mentored me.
yeah,
Most definitely, thank you for putting me in this spot because I would never believe I was here. But what I'm saying, with that being said, graduating from there, that's where BU came from. I got invited to BGR. BGR was a space where you happen to
yeah.
be.
So Black Girls Rule. If y'all don't know, that's where I just came from with Hawaii this year. Black Girls Rule is like a annual event that happens and it's amazing. It brings a lot of Black leaders throughout the nation together in one space to really start to learn how either to mobilize our current strategies or think out our future framework on what direction we need to move in. And
and
this year
and
we focused a lot on direct action. I'm sorry, go ahead.
and I was like, and molding leaders, because really, I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like everything that I've been through since Monica Robinson, everything's been a molding process still. Because, like I said, I didn't know what I was doing was advocacy work. Now that I'm doing more, I'm learning there's more folds to it, and I appreciate every piece of it. BGR taught me a lot. You know
I'm
what
so
I'm saying?
glad you said that because even now, like stepping into my role, it's one thing to be in BGR as a participant and then now coming in as a staff person, like I think sometimes to be a leader, you have to always want to be able to be a student. And what I'm noticing sometimes in the movement is that some leaders don't want to come out of leadership roles to be either a supporting role or a teacher to somebody else. And I'm just so thankful to be able to learn from other people because yes, I was killing it in research. I was great when you talk about like trans things here in Detroit. But I feel like a guppy now that I'm like stepping in comms and learning new things around resistance and like abolitionist work. And I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with like I don't know everything in this, and I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna learn from people who's done it before me. Direct action. That wasn't shit that they was doing in the places that I was going in, but I'm loving that I can learn and take my leadership from this one lens to now applying it to a whole different one that really impacts black and brown bodies in a major way. So
Most definitely, and I feel the same way because every step of the way has taught me to just. It's brought me out of so many different areas and different boxes. Like I said, it's been mind blowing just
yeah.
to just be around my own people. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And it was such a pleasure to like meet you in a way that like I don't personally know any leaders from um
Little Rock,
Little
Arkansas.
Rock. Yeah. So it's like
There are none. So
be
I will say
oh,
that.
okay, be the first.
I
Okay, be the
mean, I
best.
mean, I mean there are some here, excuse me, because Miss Majors is here.
Yes.
Gigi's
Period.
house is here. We have Lucy's Places is here. I'll
Okay.
give them kudos. You have Intrusive that is here as well. But as far as being all black trans masculine led board,
Yeah. Okay.
BU is the first in history. So that is something kudos. Everything I do, I try to
And I
bring
think that's the
something.
biggest thing too is learning that like BGR for me has been a network where I can learn who I can connect with in the South or learn who they can reach out to people from the Midwest and they can figure out like what are they doing? How are they navigating and how can I support? You know, and so BGR really brings us together and be able to build out what the future looks like for that and learn our history. Like one thing about me, I've been very intentional around what archival looks like for our history because a lot of people want to erase black trans leaders. They want to silence our voices and like our contribution to a lot of civil rights movements. But I think once we keep that document and we kind of just lay out what we're currently doing, nobody could ever erase that no matter what. So I'm glad that you're starting something that's going to
We're
eventually
not
happen.
going anywhere. Like
Yeah.
I said, our hashtags are be you, be present, be heard. So
Yeah.
we stand on that. You know what I'm saying? Be you, be present, be heard. Stand
Mm,
in your truth. You know what I'm saying? And that is what we do. You know, even if you don't want to be present, we still going. I'm going to be present every day
that
and
part.
stand true. You
How
feel me?
many current members do you have in your organization?
Right at this point, we're building,
Okay.
and we have a mentorship program as well.
I
I,
love
I
that.
didn't dab into that, but right now we're all trans masculine guys. But like I said, we have nobody to serve our trans feminine people,
Yeah.
or of color, or non-binary or NGC. So I just decided to take on the whole round right as of right now,
Yeah.
until I can find others. But like I said, we're all trans masculine, so I get more trans masculine people. So I have 7 guys right now in my mentorship program, and we have so it's about 12 of us in all.
Yeah. I think over the years of even watching BGR and like how over time the ladies have created space for trans masculine folks to be in a space and share community and be a part of this have really even changed and shaped how I do my work on a personal venture because it's like yeah, I can talk from my experience, but I also need to make room for more trans masculine folks to be able to do this work with me, to show up, to be supported, and those things here in Detroit. But how have it been in Little Rock to be able to like start be a new organization, being trans masculine led? What things are you kind of like either running into as a barrier or really needing more help in?
Just me personally, it's always hard when you have something new. People got to smell it out, sniff it out, see
Yeah.
what's really going on, see if you're real about what you're doing. So it's more so just to getting the people out. They're here.
Yeah,
We're here.
definitely.
We're very deep in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Oh,
You will be very amazed. But a lot of us live stealth down here, or we didn't have anywhere to go. So, like I said, that's why I made that step to try to make us somewhere to go. But the only stumbles are I just y'all come out and we can do things. You know what I'm saying? Because we
right.
so used to being stuck in around other parts of our community. Not saying that we shouldn't all party together, but I've never been to a party where it was all trans people in
Mhm.
Little Rock. You know what I'm saying? Until I threw one in July,
Yeah,
and had a trans showcase. That's never been done.
right.
You know, you know. we because some things we don't decipher here that y'all decipher different in the north. You
Right.
know, so because certain people think excuse me, I don't know if it's derogatory, drag queens are trans women,
Yeah.
and some are. And they're not. You know what I'm saying? So we are very mixed up here. We're so closed minded. We
Yeah, we
are we
don't talk about that too often. Yeah. One thing I want to say, who are some of the leaders that kind of helped shape your leadership to get you to where you're at today?
Oh man, it makes me bring smiles to my face.
Yeah.
Most first off, I have to give kudos and shouts out to Miss Sharon Grayson. Most
Yes.
definitely, she was here in Little Rock with me, and that is the person who told me I was doing advocacy work and I didn't know,
Right.
and was a very motivational piece for me when she was here. That's G Mama, most
Okay.
definitely. Then you have Sebastian Smith, which is my
Mhm.
uncle, who's
Mhm.
been very influential in my life for the last 20 years, even because he comes from Jackson, Mississippi, where my family comes from. So it's been a long lineage. Miss Darnisha Duncan Boyd, putting me in spaces, going to Monica Roberts and
Yeah.
being able to be in BGR and to be in those spaces with the ladies and learn and see what it's like, and putting me, just giving me a chance.
Yeah.
Also, Miss Riviera, uh,
Mhm.
Raya Lester. I mean, all these great. Sean Coleman, my mentor, and when I was in school, Miss Cecilia. Oh, it's so many people, but
Yeah.
I say, and Michael Trim.
Mhm.
Um, he's been very influential to me. He's one guy, the transmasculine presence that's been in my life, and he hasn't left my side. He's a true definition of loyalty. And also Nick Coleman.
I love that. I love that because people don't understand that this work alone is just like it don't just stand on the shoulders of one person. It's like it's our ancestors, it is our community members, it is our leaders that came before us, and it's going to be our leaders that come after us. Like this is a continuous effort for all of us to gain liberation throughout a generational thing to where the younger generation, they don't got to worry about people misgendering them or like being
Right.
discriminatory about what bathroom they want to go to in the near future. You know what I mean? Like
That's
sometimes,
what we're facing
yeah,
here
I'm
right
so
now.
right now.
Right
Yeah,
now, we're facing that right now. Conway just yesterday, one of the school districts just
okay.
closed down now. So we're going through that right now.
Yeah. And I think that's the hardest thing is because the South has been getting hit the hardest when it comes to like what I see when I feel like they're trying to take us back, right? So the reproduction rights is getting taken away. Before you know it, they're going to be trying to get black people back in bondage. And if people do not start waking up, if they don't start speaking up and showing up, those
Most
things
definitely.
right there,
Most definitely.
it's gonna set us back to everything that our ancestors before us have already fought for. You know,
I see.
so yeah, I definitely feel
You
you.
think just like I was thinking, as far as like we're gonna be living in slavery.
Yeah.
It's like we're going back to slavery time. Like, what are y'all trying to do? You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
you know. So you said bondage, the same thing. I
Yeah.
just don't know where.
So I encourage. I'll take this moment. Like this is so unlike me, but I will encourage everybody to vote. If you can vote, please vote because it's really impactful to creating the change that we need here. If you currently like your life, like listen to me, people, because I'm not saying you ain't gotta be no me, you ain't gotta be no Miss Mouthy. But if you let's just say you like to get up every day and you like to smoke your little ganja and you want your peace of mind and you like to chill on the
Right.
block with your friends, that's freedom. That's liberation. If you
Most
continue to want to have that, it only takes 20 minutes out of your day. Go vote so you can continue to smoke your ganja and sit on your porch and your chill. If
definitely.
you want to be a politician,
Hmm.
you know, there are going to be a level of expectation that people are going to start expecting of you. We have to stop putting people in office just because we share the same color and not the same like morals, the moral compass of like really being for the people to gain those votes. Then we put you in office and then things like this happen where our rights get taken away. So I encourage everybody else to vote and also do your research on
Who
what are these proposals. Really do that. And if you cannot, ask one of your community members, ask somebody who you know are more versed in the politics of like really breaking down what these bills are, because that's how they get us. The language that they be using in these proposals and bills will really set people back.
most
Don't rely on them damn commercials. Don't
definitely.
don't
I
rely on them commercials. Go read the
early voted.
articles.
I early voted myself. I ain't gonna
Okay,
so I clap on kudos, but the wording was crazy. So you're totally right.
thank you. Yes. So, you know, one thing that's bringing me joy in this season of my life is recognizing that, thank you. Um, so shout out to everybody that is joining in on Facebook Live, on YouTube. I thank y'all for watching. But what I will say is that this season of my life, I'm bringing joy because I'm in peace. It's something that happens when you in peace and you allowed yourself to let go of past hurt, past trauma. I'm not saying I'm all the way there. I'm still a work in progress, but it damn sure feel good to not be in a place of survival. You know what I mean? To not have to constantly show up in survival mode and like work so hard to now I can breathe. I can allow myself to like take moments in, love on people who love on me, and set forth of like how important time is in this life, you know? So yes. What are some things that you would really like to see? Maybe I'll give you a small scope a year from now with your org.
With my org, I want to see my mentorship program grow bigger. I want to have more mentors come in and help me guide people, and I want to also have a place, a center. I want to have a center here. I want to
Okay.
have a youth center. That's something I want to build for. We can have some housing for our people and just have a resource center for us only for our community.
Definitely, definitely. Um, now let's get into the you ready for the smoke? Let me be like Carisha.
Let's
You
go.
ready for
Let's
the
go.
smoke?
Let's
Okay,
go.
okay. So what is one of the biggest misconceptions that most people have about trans masculine folks that you would say?
um, Most of us are toxic.
Ooh, okay, okay. You know something.
Most of us are toxic, but most of y'all go off of what y'all hear or how we talk, which all of us come from different coasts, so we
Yeah,
got different lingos. So it's just it's you got can't judge the book by its cover. But that toxic masculinity, most definitely.
I
But
appreciate that.
most of us don't show it. I think it's just us, but that's what it is.
Yeah. 'Cause I was gonna say that was my biggest one. I'm not gonna cap. Like, I was just gonna say, like, I think they toxic." But I think that's also a level of I had to own that's my own projection, right? Like, there is a level of me that, no, I haven't done all the work that's required, especially when we talk about T for T relationships. Like, I think to be having your own personal traumas and then bring 2 people that has not really worked through it all, and then say, "Hey, we gonna put y'all together and y'all just figure it out." That's when we get to projecting it, right? So it may not be that you're necessarily toxic. It just may be that I don't know how to use the right language or meet you how you supposed to. Because a lot of us, well, I'll speak for myself. For me, until those moments showed up was the first time that I have ever dated a trans man, you know? So it had made me be like, it was easier to say you was toxic versus saying I don't know how to love you.
Most definitely, most
Yeah.
definitely, because you didn't know how to understand what was
That
going
that
on.
perspective, yeah, like, I didn't know what the struggles was of a trans man, nor did I know how to alleviate those, right? So I
Yeah,
didn't know what the triggers were. I didn't know what makes him feel inferior as a man. And that's in dating in general now. I'm very intentional about how I show up as a woman talking to a man that I don't know his traumas. And I would hope that like people in general before they pursue anybody be mindful of what somebody may have been through even if you don't know their story.
yeah, most definitely. I agree with you on that. You have to. I feel like you have to really sit down and talk to people, get in people's minds before you, even try to even go for that. Because you got to find out. I found that you have to find out with the ladies, with your queens, if
Yeah.
you have singers, if you have twerks, because like I said, I, me personally, just started finding myself. I don't live in no box. I don't know what a box is, but me
Okay.
finding myself, what I'm saying. Um, I didn't know what triggers were. I didn't know certain
Right.
things that my queens went through, my sisters went through, what I'm saying? Because I didn't live that life. I came from where I came from. I always acted this way. The hormone didn't make me, I made it. You feel me? So
Right.
it's like you have to sit back and really conversate with people. And
Yeah.
when you conversate with a person of I think of the trans experience and it's a female and you never both never did it before,
Right.
it's both talking first and
Because
just go ahead.
and you got two people who may have a level of gender dysphoria and we don't enter the chat talking about what makes us feel some type of way, right? All we
Right.
know is that we want to be with this person. Okay, let's be shallow for a minute. Let's be real.
Come on,
We
let's
all
get that.
okay, all we know is that we want to be with this person because they look a certain type of way, right? Or
Hey,
the energy exchange of feminine energy meets masculine energy. So now we like, oh, okay, it works. But we're not talking about the things that makes us insecure and gender dysphoria of like, if you touch me here, if I do that, that's gonna make me feel that's not. Um, and it just shows out in different ways. And so now I'm a little bit more intentional, but I also recognize I'm a lot scared with dating trans men more than I have been ever before, just
mm-hmm.
because of the things that I've been through. So I'm trying to be
That's
cognizant
a
of that.
trigger. You even had a
Yeah,
trigger.
yeah. I'm trying to be cognizant of that, but also recognizing that like whatever form my love comes in,
Most definitely.
I want to be open and healed to receive it, you know?
I am the same way. Most definitely. I understand that.
So
When you,
outside of family, right?
mhm.
What else is like things that bring you happiness and joy? Um,
I
that
love
you
the. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no,
Finish.
you're good. Go.
I love to travel. I love to travel. I love to. I'm my only child. I have siblings by my father, but my mom, my only child. So I guess you would say, just right now with her being her elder age, just getting them out there because they're finding themselves now. They're non-binary. They were so
Okay.
I'm supposed to have been a lesbian all my life, but going
Right.
through certain things with me and learning about me and watching me as her son and
Mhm.
finding their self, I'm having to learn their pronouns now.
That
So
is so beautiful.
it's that's been a beautiful experience. That's something that's bringing me joy right there because we're coming together because it was a big tussle because my mom being a butch lesbian and me doing living my truth, it clashed. It clashed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's like understanding and trying to interpret. And I thank Miss Sharon for that.
Yeah. That's real. Why
you
would
know,
you say that the work that myself, you, and other leaders do are so important? Like, why, say, if I was a philanthropist or I was somebody and I'm like, where do I put my money in? Why is it important for me to put it in these black orgs? What would you say?
I would say because it's needed. I mean, our Caucasian counterparts, they are getting the resources. They know how to get out here and to network and be together, regardless of they not rubbing elbows and they don't mess with each other. They still making the things pop. And I feel like you ladies, you do the same thing. Us as trans masculine, we need to. We're popping up everywhere now.
Yeah.
Or we need to do the same thing. We need to show up in the same spaces in the same spots as you ladies do when things pop off and come in forces.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest thing is just building us up to be as like strong like our queens,
Mm.
and have the same mind frames. Even though hey, you gotta shake sometime, but hey, you gotta make things bake.
That part. That part. Thank you, Chavez. Shout out to you. Thank you for the love and support. I really want to say that like one of the things about doing this work that's necessary and vital is because if you see how racism the country, right?
Hmm.
And y'all keep saying that, oh, we so sorry for everything that happened and everything that's been put through, or we see how this affects you, but you don't put money behind that. You're really just amplifying the problem. You're asking people who's already without resources to continue to show up and care for each other with
Right.
having nothing.
Right.
Without having a nothing, and trying to create opportunity on it creates that scarcity model that we see when everybody chasing them funding dollars, or it becomes that crab in the bucket thing. So to
Mhm.
alleviate that, it's enough money to go around. It's enough great leaders doing great work that don't have to reinvent the wheel, okay? To be able to like now use that to create more and to not be burnt out, you know? A lot
Right.
of times we see burnout in our community before that leader has had a chance to be able to pass the torch because they're trying to hold down so much. So put those monies behind those organizations that y'all really know, and those community leaders. Get on the ground. I had a young lady ask me and a friend when we were in Hawaii, how do they support um trans people? And it's like, go to your local organization, to the people that you know is really doing the work, and ask that person. Like, if you got a trans person that's newly coming out, ask them what support looks like for them, because I can't tell you what that looks like. Support for me could just look like buy me a wig, but for them, they may want you. You get what I'm saying? They may want you to really use their pronouns and like hug and
That's
love
right.
on them. So it might
You're,
look different. Or
you're right.
I could be a bitch with a ton of money, and then I might need, or I might be somebody who ain't got nothing, and I might need some sponsorship. I might need some money to be able to like show up and present the way that I want to. So, ask that person before making any assumptions about what you think a trans person want.
Most definitely. That is true. And everybody make
Yeah.
assumptions. Right?
Yes, definitely, definitely. I just wanted to say to you and give you your roses, because oftentimes I don't see examples of trans women being able to really like love on trans masculine folks. Like, we're always divided. I don't know what that's about. Maybe we we haven't been able to create enough spaces. That's why I love BGR, because it create those spaces for us to have those uncomfortable dialogue. But I appreciate you for always being a gentleman in spaces and being able to be very honest and transparent with me in just all forms and fashions. And like, to see a year later we're still being able to have conversation, build community, and I've
Yeah.
been able to watch your journey. Like, you're doing great work, so keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? And I
Thank you.
can't wait to see what happens for you next.
And congratulations to you for
Thank you.
your work. And thank you for noticing me. I really don't look for notice because I do it because I love it. This is
Yeah.
my, you know what I'm saying? But I appreciate that so much. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Because you mean so much to so many younger people that look up to you, and just to see you step into a role without having getting any acknowledgement or nothing back, or sometimes we could be blackballed for different things, but keep doing the work, because that's what thrives you. You know what I mean? Sometimes I be in sometimes I swear I be in my feelings, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? But the universe and God always give you things to like be a constant reminder on why you're doing what you're doing. And that's when I noticed to take myself out of it and show up for the purpose.
I understand totally what you're saying because all I've been claiming, I've been obtaining.
Yeah,
So I've just been in my own square and everything's coming into place.
yeah.
Then and I appreciate it. Everything is coming, and I'm not going to block it.
So this is me, because I always do the segment of pearls of wisdom. I like to leave people with some form of advice or encouragement, where you say, if you have a young trans masculine person that's like newly in a transition or thinking about transition, what would be some advice that you would love to give them?
And when you say a newly, have they already started hormones, or are they pre-T? They just thinking about it as a
Let's just say both. Let's just say both, to just find
okay,
people where they are.
okay, okay. I'll start with if you're pre-T, most definitely I would say go talk to a therapist first before even starting your journey. A lot of guys jump straight into the hormones and some guys end up regretting it and going back to their dead names and their dead self. And I don't want anybody to ever regret things because these changes don't stop once you
Mhm.
start it. So I always say go to therapy first. I lived pre-T for a whole year before I even started hormones, so I would tell people to do that as well. Also, if you're just beginning, just notice everything, all the changes that are happening once you start taking a shot. Jot little things down because everybody's video on YouTube don't is not your journey. You can look at
Right.
their journey on there, but everybody has something different to say about it. Because everybody's journey is different. So
No
just
lie.
jot every jot part out.
Yeah. I love that a whole lot. I really don't I really don't have much to say when it comes to that. But what I will say to my sisters on just how we show up in spaces when it comes to trans masculine folks, let's put in perspective that when they say they experience, it's not an attack against us. It's not it's not a personal thing. They're not saying you as a woman. Um and even if they is, we have to learn to create spaces to respect how we've made people feel. I always talk about impact versus intention. Your intentions could be a certain type of way, but how you impact folks, right? When we don't leave room for us to collaborate, if we don't support our trans brothers in their fight for equality as well, if we don't try to understand their own struggles and adversities, then we becoming oppressors. We becoming oppressors. We are now becoming folks that are oppressing another group of people. Let's not do that. We understand what it's like to be asked to not show up fully, not to be understood. And so I want to support y'all because hopefully in that way, I've recognized as a woman, I won't have to do so much. You know what I mean? I won't have to work as hard. Like sometimes we fight so hard, but if we make space for our brothers to show up in their fullness, right? They're gonna make sure we good. They're gonna make sure we cover it. So that's what I would like to offer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. How can the people find you and how can they support your organization?
Okay, you can. We have a Facebook business page. You can find it. We spell BU very kind of crazy, but it's BE space YOUU. That's on Facebook because they dropped my U, but my real organization is BU with three U's. BE space YOUU. Okay, we have a private group
Triple
on. I
U.
mean, we have
Okay.
a group. We have a group on Facebook as well. You can come in there. We just chat. But my business page is with two U's. Also, I have a website. It's ok2bu.com. So you can check the website out. Go ahead and see what we're talking about, see our mission, our vision, and what we're aiming to keep pushing in my city and helping others in other states. Because I don't just help people just here, I help people everywhere. So, and it's right now it's out of my pocket. So I'm just doing what I do. Like I told you, I love what I do.
I love that. Keep doing what you're doing, okay? Um, and y'all know it's your girl Miss Mouthy. It's Miss Mouthy on everything. Find me on YouTube. I'm only gonna be in the studio twice a month. I will have two vlogs that come out monthly that's gonna supplement the time that I'm in the studio. But also if you want more personal, intimate conversations with me on more personal conversations or topics, you can follow me on Patreon. And I just want to be able to, in 2023, I'm starting to see this shift of where I want to go. I really want to highlight more our leaders. I want to be able to really like make sure that y'all voices are being heard, y'all leadership is being highlighted. So in the next year, that is something that I'm dedicating to make space. And Chavez, thank you. We received those kind words, and the world needs you too. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm so glad that this conversation could help you and you gain something from it. It's your girl, Miss Mouthy. I appreciate you. Shout outs to BTF again for bringing Black joy and liberation to trans people all over this nation. It's your girl, Miss Mouthy. Even when you what? Don't see me, you hear me. Till next time. Bye.